Good afternoon, Paul. This is Rich Lucero here at La Mesa RV in beautiful Mesa, Arizona. As promised, here is going to be an orientation and walkthrough video on this 2021. I do believe it is a 21. Yes, it is. 41 LKB Beacon from Van Lee. Anyway, I'm going to turn it to walkthrough and orientation technician. Say hi, Charlie.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
And he's going to go through, and we're just going to go ahead and start. It's going to be a really hot day here in Mesa, Arizona, so I'm hoping my phone doesn't overheat. Let's get it rolling. I'll hand it over to you, Charlie.
All right, we're going to start right up front here. You have a switch at the front of the coach that actually turns on the LED up here in the nose of the coach. Up here, this will help you at night pulling into a new spot, what have you. It'll give you a little bit of illumination. You would obviously want probably a spotlight on the back of your rig that's going to be telling you. Other than that, that's about it for that. Down here on the lower side, you have a fuse, it's a solar hookup for a standalone solar panel. The 100 to 200 watts can be hung off that to the side to aim at the sun, supplying additional power for your battery. Only for the battery, it's not to supply life for the coach. It's just a charging point. Up underneath this hatch here, you have your battery compartment on one side. You have a single battery in there at this current time. I would highly recommend you do a second battery because they do sometimes have voltage issues when it comes to raising and lowering the jacks, the power jacks for the leveling system. Second battery, highly recommended. You do have a surge guard pre-wired into the system. You still want to run a secondary surge protector. If not, you could stand a chance of a overpower or maybe a transformer going out street side, and it could cause you some issues. But put a second surge protector in line at the power source and then plug your rig in. Here is your generator compartment for your future generator. It is already pre-wired with wiring in place to actually wire it into the house, and you'll be good to go from there. At this point, it's just a compartment. All right, going over here, you have an auto hitch and leveling system right here. You would actually do a double finger touch on both arrows at the same time, and that lights up a green light. That tells you that you have power to the source and you can actually start your leveling system with it. It's also a memory based auto hitch, so when your rig comes in to pick it up, it's going to recognize the last hitching point, and when you hit auto level at the next destination, it's going to drop it down to that point at the point of last hitching. And then you're going to have to come into the arrows and lower the front legs until it touches the new grounding point. Otherwise, you're going to have an issue. You won't be able to ground it. So you're going to want to pay attention to your leveling when you get to where you're going.
One thing too, it does have really nice instructions right here for you in case if you have any questions with it. We'll leave that sticker on so you could reference that. Also too, just want to let you know too, if you go onto our YouTube channel, lamesarv.com, we do have little 30-second videos on just about everything that we're going to show you today, whether it's going to be working your water heater, your furnace, or inside with your multiplex wiring controls.
Exactly. All right, over here is your first 30-pound propane container. On this side, which would be the driver's side of the rig, is the only point to where you can actually see whether or not you have gas in the system. You have a meter here that's going to show you green or red if it's empty. All right. Currently, you are full of propane.
Slam ledge doors.
Yes. All right. In here, I mentioned a few seconds ago that you have a front end leveling system. This is the secondary backup for any issues where you have hitching issues and you throw an error on the front pad. You come back here and you can actually level the whole system out from this control pad. You would hit the, let me get my glasses here. All right, so you're going to hit auto level in here. It's going to say done now because I currently have it already leveled out for you at this point. But then you would hit auto hitch, and it would, when you back the truck in, it's going to recognize, like I said, that last point, and it's going to go from there, and then you would have to raise the legs and what have you. But if you have an error out front at the front end connection, this is where you would go to set, reset that system and go for broken from there. All right. Right here, you want to close that? All right. Right here is your wet bay. The wet bay, you have electric valves for your gray and your black tank. They are resettable breakers on these valves. So if something was to go wrong, you lost power or what have you, you can come out here. It'll glow red if it's been tripped. You reset the breaker, and then the valve should be back up and running without any issues. At the same point, just below the gray valve, you have your bypass valve for your water heater. So when you go into winterization mode, you would want to be sure that this valve is pointed down, bypassing the water heater. In a normal mode, it puts water back through the whole system, including the water heater. When it's in bypass mode, you're in winterization mode, and that's going to keep the antifreeze, the RV antifreeze, from going into the water heater and rusting out the core of the water heater. You don't want to do that. You want to keep antifreeze out of the core of the water heater. Down here you have a second yellow ball valve. One side is city water. That's allowing the water from your city water pressure or your tank, in this particular case, to run off your water pump, supplying water off your fresh water tank. If it's hooked to city water, then you're going to stay off the water pump, keep that off, because you'll burn it up if you run it while you have city pressure. Put it in city water and you'll be good to go. If you turn it up, it's going to allow the water to bypass all the water, main house water lines, and fill your tank. The white connection down here, you got city written right next to it. You can't miss what that's for. That's the city water pressure hookup, where you're running from your supplier to your rig. What I usually do when I hook up at my supply side, not at the rig, at the supply side, I run a brass elbow and I run a 5 micron with the RV filter right behind it. That gives me bottle quality water inside my rig. All right, going from there, down below you have your tank flush. Tank flush is used to wash out your black tank. After you do the initial draining of the black tank, you're going to hook up a garden hose to the tank flush. You're going to close your black tank valve to be sure you don't have anything escaping while you're flushing the tank. And this, on the back side of this tank flush, there's a sprayer at the top side of the black tank. That's going to wash down the walls of your black tank, and it'll get all that residue that's hung to the walls out of your black tank, clearing the black tank and the sensors and giving you proper reading at your monitor inside. From there, we're going to drop down. You have red and white valves on the right side of the wall of your your wash bay here. And what these are for, they're low point drains. That's going to be, again, when you go back to winterization, you're going to open those up and drain out all the water in the system before you put the RV antifreeze in. This little guy down here, silver and black, that's your water pump. When you're doing winterization, you have a hose here that you would take and hook up to the inlet side of your water pump where it's sucking in, and that's going to be, one side's going to be hooked to the water pump and the other side's going to go to your RV antifreeze. From there you go up, and let's see if this one's got one. I don't see an on and off for a water pump in here. So inside you're going to activate the water pump, and that's going to suck the water in when you're doing winterization, or the antifreeze. You have an outdoor shower that's hot and cold running, generally used to wash down either your feet or a dog or an animal that you're taking to the shore with you. That's what I usually use mine for. Or if you got a little kid you want to wash off and keep them clean before you take them inside, you can wash him off too. You also have an ice maker valve up here. Currently it's on the on side. You have water coming into your fridge. You have a household fridge with water and ice making ability. As long as this is on, you'll have ice inside and water to your fridge. If it's in the off position, obviously you won't have anything. Okay. Coming over here, we have our water heater. Now I'll tell you the way I usually do my water heater on my personal rig. I relieve the pressure at the relief valve here and I leave it open. That takes water pressure off the opening point down here at the little nut, the little nylon nut. Once you pull this off, you let all the water out. Let it run completely empty. I take a 18 or 20 volt hand drill with a 1.5 foot rod and a welder's tip brush, cleaning brush on the end. And I run it in there 2 to 3 times, maybe 4 times max, cleaning out all the hard water deposit that Arizona is known for. That will preserve the life of your water heater. If you don't do that at least once a year in Arizona, we would have to replace this in about 2.5 years. That's at least a $600, $700 replacement. You don't want that, so do that yearly maintenance and that'll prolong the life of your water heater. That's about it for that part. Okay. Down here, this is your waste tank main trunk. That's where you're going to put your Rhino sewage line. You're going to connect that. You're going to connect one end here, and you're going to take the other end of that sewage pump or sewage hose and connect it to your dump site, and that'll give you access to release your sewer system or sewage waste into the main drain and get it off your rig. All right. Your slide here. This is a hydraulic slide, electric hydraulic. So it's obviously you don't have to really do any real maintenance to this. Just be sure that, when you're moving the slides in and out, especially on the outside, you don't want any obstacles on the outside. If you do, you will bind them up and you'll be calling one of us service techs out there to give you a hand. Let's not do that.
Love the paint on this. Gorgeous.
All right. Down here, in front of that jack, that little hose you're seeing right there, the white hose with the black valve, that's your freshwater drain valve. When you want to get rid of anything that you have on board in fresh water, usually after a couple of weeks, I would drain mine down and then I can refill it. Close it off and refill back up front in the wet bay. But that's just your drain valve for your freshwater tank.
Good shot of the underbelly there too.
Yep. Right here, you have your 50 amp cord. And you have a power reel, which is really nice. It keeps you from having to fold that thing up. That's a beast. You hit your power reel right here. Here's your button that supplies power to the cord and pulls it in. You can't ask for much better than that. Easy living. Above you, above this first window here, we have our vent for our hood for our stove, allowing all the heat off the stove to come out. All right. Back side, you do have capability. If you look up here where that white patch is, you actually have the ability to hardwire in a backup camera. That runs right into your 7-pin up front as well. Ladder will take you to the roof. Allows you to clean your roof off. Allows you to clean off the slides. If you do not have slide toppers, you do want access to those slides to clean them off. I believe you also have solar up there, if I'm not mistaken.
I have to check the build sheet. I think this model did have solar on it though.
All right. On the top side of this, there should be a panel, at least one solar panel. That's hardwired into your storage bay up front. We'll be going over that here in a second. And I'll confirm whether or not you have a solar charger at that point. These awnings here that we're looking at, we're coming up underneath of right now, they do have adjusting points on both your rear and your front awning. Right here is your adjusting point. What this adjusting point does allows the awning to pivot sideways, allowing rain to run off either the front or back. And when you actually hit these adjusting points, you can leave them in place and retract with that pitch in place for the next time you sit out. Do not have your awnings out. Anything over 5 miles an hour, I usually pull my awnings in. It's a safety precaution, and these things are not auto retractable. This is not the model for auto retraction.
I always tell my customers, if you have the awnings out, then you need to be underneath of them.
Exactly.
This is that little pin right there that he's talking about. So if you were to push this pin in, and then you can now move this up and down, then you can adjust it. Now if you have it all the way, because right now both of the awnings are on their fully up position, you could actually pull the awnings to where they come down a lot further. You just want to make sure that these pins here and then on the other side here are in the same position on both sides when you're pulling them in and out.
Right. Now back up here in our first, and to answer the question, I don't see a solar charger in here.
Yeah, it might not be. I know these are solar prepped. I'd have to check the build sheet.
No problem. Just just confirming things from what I cite. Over here we have a cable connection, and I forgot to mention it. In the wet bay on the other side, there's also a 3-point cable connection over there. You have cable, satellite, and there's one pin that you leave open that you jump off your satellite pin into the open pin, and that feeds your satellite throughout the house inside. Over here though, this here allows you to have TV on this side up underneath the awning. As long as the other side is fed, this side is fed out. You have 110 here. You have a vacuum cleaner system here. You pull the tray out, and there's a bag on the other end of that door that you pull out and you replace with a new bag, and that gives you your vacuum inside. This hand crank here, you take this, and on the back side of this rig, on your passenger side, there's a porthole. You stick it in, that lowers your spare tire. All right, with that being said, we're done here. Up here, this is your 12-volt disconnect. Anytime you got the rig in storage, you want to be sure that you turn this off so you can serve the life of your batteries. Otherwise, it's going to be a constant draw of at least 1 amp, and then you're going to eventually kill your batteries. You don't want to do that. Right here is your second 30-pound propane tank. Again, the gauge is on the other side to let you know whether or not you have gas in either tank. Generally, I leave mine closed unless I'm using them. That's the best practice, the safest practice. All right, let's go inside. You do have 110 right here as well, just outside your door, allowing you to watch TV or whatever, radio, what have you. That's a good connection there. All right, going in, up on the side, we have external speakers. Those external speakers, your radio inside is zoned, usually ABC or 1, 2, 3, one of those two patterns, and you can control the inside on A, the outside on C, and B is usually a combined setting. That's about it for that. Let's go inside and check out the house.
There you go. So these models are going to be ready for a gen. So this is going to be the wiring controls for the generator right here.
Exactly.
So obviously it's got 0 hours on it. It is going to be prepped, and so it's ice cold in here too. By the way, we got 3 air conditioners.
I made sure of it.
I'll take. Yeah, it feels really good in here, especially after being outside for that long.
Exactly.
I'll take over a couple things in here, since a lot of this is not just the technical stuff, but obviously you got your blackout shades right here that they go up. So you got the blackout and the solars. Okay, so you'll be able to see this. These windows are jealousy style or awning style windows. So you twist this little knob outward here, and then you want to make sure they're all the way closed and they're shut real good, so that way you don't have dust or dirt or anything coming inside as you're going down the road. That obviously you're going to have opening windows just about everywhere that you look. These are not the jealousy because these come in with the slide, and so there's a little lever here and here that you could use to open up these windows, and they do have the screens right below. We'll get to the wiring system. I'll have Charlie go over that, but if you want to take a quick look, I think I already shot a video of this interior for you, but this is it. It is gorgeous. Everything is fantastic. One of the best stoves oven combinations that I've seen in the business, and you do get a 30-inch convection microwave. Hopefully you know how to work a microwave for you. And then lots of storage everywhere that you look. Soft closed doors, so they shut all by themselves. Right here, again, soft close. Yep, that one might need a little bit of help. There you go. And then another one here too as well. Stainless bowl sink, nice big farmer sink. We're gonna ship it with all these extra keys for you. This is a pull-out sprayer head, so you could have water fights in the kitchen if you wanted to. And then more storage down below. Nice thing about the Beacon models is all this tile that you see here, this is individually laid. And so the nice thing is if you dropped a hot pan or a knife or something that would puncture one of these floor tiles, then you could actually remove that floor tile, bring it up and bring it out. There is a lock on the refrigerator door. You can see it's set right now at 37 degrees for the bottom. This is the new ThinQ Smart refrigerator from LG. All high-end appliances on these models. You don't see any of the cheap stuff. They did throw some water in. You can see some ice in the back. Let's make sure I'm gonna get that and drain that so that way when you come and pick it up, you don't have water sloshing around in your freezer. So that shuts. You got the two doors. You can set the individual controls right here, and then you could also, if you have a Wi-Fi signal to this, you could actually control this with an app from your phone. But again, water and ice at the door, and there's your air filter that you see back behind there, and then more controls. And they do ship you with a fresh filter right there, as well as lots of reading material for you if you need it. This is the wine cooler that you see on board. And then you can see here too, you do have a light to be able to see inside of what's going on, and then you could, it's real simple controls. On and off power, you got to hold that button for 3 seconds, and then you could control your temperature by clicking on this. Again, brand new. Shut this right here. One of the biggest advantages of going to the Van Leigh models is that they use, instead of the Thomas Paine furniture, they use this Franklin furniture, which is made right here in the United States, and it's not made across the sea like you would typically see on the Thomas Paine you'd see on other models. So the actual material that they use itself is just very rich, very nice, very high end. You do got some power ports right down there to control, like for USB, as well as lots of USBs basically everywhere you look, and lots of these little touchpads here that you could turn off lights, you could turn on ceiling fans, you can do all sorts of different things with this control center. More of your jalousie windows right here with the screens that open up, more storage. Again, all soft close everything, very nice. And then you get to the entertainment center. So with the entertainment center here, you got your Furrion. This is what Charlie was talking about, how you could select your zones. And it looks like you do have an AM, FM. You got it says disc, so I'm guessing this is not just a CD player, but a DVD player too as well. And here's your speakers for your inside, and then you got your speakers for your outside, and lots of choices if you wanted to add a sound bar, if you wanted to hook up a satellite, whatever you wanted to do. You got lots of clear wiring. Again, Tiffin really likes from their wet bay where it's all laser engraved instead of having the stickers on it. They like to label everything so down the road you know what you're doing. You do get a 50-inch fireplace in here too. This does put out about 5,000 BTUs of heat. It does have a lighting feature, so if you wanted it just for the ambiance, and you could have that set up. Or the advantage of this is if you're in a place like Arizona and it's say 35-40 degrees outside, you could turn that thing on. This will heat your entire coach. You won't burn through an ounce of propane. Going with the high-end theme too, you do get an LG TV, not a cheap Xera or some of the cheap TVs that they put in some of these. And then you can also see, if I back up a little bit, the accent wall from the color, from the kind of the gray stone to the more of the off-white center. Again, gorgeous. This whole thing, look at the finish work in the roof. The Beacon models compared to the Velan are going to have a lot more of this coffered wood ceiling fan that's right there and above. And then Whisper Quiet AC, I'd have to really be speaking up if I was in like a Bighorn or something similar, because this Whisper Quiet air conditioning really does make a difference in cooling power, and also the quietness in which it runs. You got a power fan back over here too, as well as you got more speakers right over here. Now we're going to touch the multiplex wiring system, and I'm going to have Charlie take back over for that.
All right, going to our home screen. At the home screen, you have a choice of 4 different lights: living room, kitchen, bedroom, and hall. And there is also an on and off master point at this connection as well. When they are lit in the blue fashion, the light powder blue fashion there, that means they're currently on. Turn them all off, you hit the off button, and everything goes off in the house. Back on, the whole house lights up. To the right hand side of the panel, top side, we have our battery level, 13.4, brand new battery, should be good. We also have a display of our fresh gray and black tanks. Freshwater is currently filled. We usually do that when we go to ship. We ship a full fresh tank and we ship full propane as well. Down below our tank monitor, we have our water pump, our tank heaters, our electric water heater, and our propane water heater. When it comes to the tank heaters, on my personal rig, I usually set mine to go off at 35 degrees. So I got to jump on the freezing temp at 32. We also have on the home screen our ambient temperature for all 3 locations of our ACs. Currently right now we're sitting at 75, 74, and 73, which is great in here, especially in Arizona. Alright, going to our light panel, which is the second choice on the computer panel here, is all the lights in the house. You can control each light independently, or you can turn them on and off all together. Right now I'm setting all lights to be on and I'm turning them off. The 2 awning lights and the porch light will automatically stay on because it's a safety feature and you want to be able to see coming in and out. Alright, right now I just turned it back on. Now we're going to go to our HVAC system, which is the thermometer looking icon at the bottom of the screen here. And we have front, mid, and rear ACs. You do have heat pump features in this rig. With the heat pump features, you have to keep in mind that in cold climates, the heat pump and the furnace work in conjunction with one another. So if you're trying to run your heat pump and it's say 30 degrees outside and you set the inside ambient temperature to be 70 or 72, the heat pump, if it's unable to maintain, it will automatically fire the furnace up, and the furnace will bring the house up to temperature what you're requesting, and then the heat pump will then turn itself on and maintain the temperature until it's unable to maintain, and then it will flip back to the furnace and pick up and bring it back to temperature again. A lot of people get confused with the heat pump because they think it's short cycling. That's not the case. It's actually, the heat pump's not meant to maintain high temperatures and freezing temps. So you do have AC features, you have auto, you have fan controls here. It's pretty simple, intuitive. You can look at it and actually see what you're doing. Each button is written out to explain what you got on. Like, you got your AC fan low. Right now I just turned the mid fan down to low. I can operate the furnace over on my front if I want, turn the AC off. But we're going to turn it back on because it is summer here in Arizona and we're cooking. So let's go back on the high for everything. These 2 little black points here, these are actually temperature sensors. They actually sense the temperature in the rig and they tell the heating or the AC to come on and off. Going on to our next button, which will be the 4th button, it looks like a little van with punch outs on the side. That's your galley, living, and bedroom slide control panel. Over here, if it's lit blue, like you see here, I'm actually extending out or retracting out, or in, I should say. You have a galley slide, a living room slide, and a bedroom slide. The galley slide will run both your galley slides simultaneously at a slow pace. One will inch out and then the other one will pick up once that one's already out. Same principle when it comes to the living room slide. The bedroom slide is independent. It'll go in and out on its own with the touch of the controller. Going to our next icon, which is the fan, you have a ceiling fan, a galley fan, a mid-bath fan, and a main bath fan. As long as I said before, if it's blue, it's on. I just turned them. I'm turning them all off right now except for the ceiling fan. The lids go up and down. You have independent buttons for your vent lids. That's the galley opening up. I don't know if you can hear that, but it is opening. Alright, let's close it back. We don't need any of the heat in here. Alright, our next icon is a gearing looking thing. And that's going to be all your awnings. It says you have a TV lift in here, but you do not. I looked all over for it. There is no lift. This was a panel that was used when they ran out of the regular. But you do have 2 awnings. You have a main awning and a secondary awning. The secondary goes over your dinette slide, and then the main awning covers you from your entry door down to just before the main bay for storage. So these are your controls for your awnings. The little what would you call that?
That one.
Yeah, that one. All right, this particular panel is only used for the technical side when you call a tech out to do any troubleshooting with your electrical system. This particular panel is only used by the technician, and they will go in and troubleshoot with this particular panel. Obviously it says diagnostics and screen settings and wire switches. That's all technical, nothing you really need to be concerned with unless you're a tech guru.
If you're kind of techie too, it's kind of cool if you do click on this monitor here, this part of it. It'll tell you everything right now that has power going to it, what's going on with it.
Right. It's
So
a
if you're-
G6 panel.
Yeah, if you're a bit nerdy, kind of like I am, then you might like that. One more thing too on the lights. Anytime you see that little up and down arrow like that,
You can dim
if
them.
you click on this, then you could move this up and down, and you could dim. I don't know if the camera's picking that up.
Yeah.
You could dim all the lights that have that on there, so that's a really cool feature too as well.
Yes.
Right down here at the very bottom, you'll see these lights as we've been moving around. They have a little white bulb that's on the bottom of that, and that's going to control from your motion sensing. And so when you go up and down, those will automatically turn on to be able to give you a little bit of light down there.
Right.
This is your bathroom right here. Super easy. You got a bathroom ceiling light that you can turn on and off. There's me. Hi, how are you? And we got some more storage in here. Again, more soft close. Porcelain toilet right here with a foot flush, and then you have your toilet paper mounted, your actual faucet on and off, solid surface countertops, and you got a GFCI protected plug in there too. Down below, you got the spot for the Dirt Devil, so you could actually plug it in there, right there, and then you could turn it on and off using that. And then the bag outside, you'll have to pull that little bag out to be able to change it. You'll see this little light turn on as I come closer to it. So that's again your auto light. Here in the bedroom, once again, you do got another 50-inch fireplace. Quite amazing. Again, lighting feature that you see in here. You're gonna have remotes. I don't know if you can see it, but if you pop this open, you're gonna have remotes for all of your TVs. Again, down below, more stuff, more satellite. You could do HDMIs, you could do all sorts of things. The wiring in here, Tiffin laid it out really nice. Again, nice big screen LG TV, LED TV. More storage in here. This is actually right at the level that you could turn around and sit on this, and you could tie your shoes if you wanted to. Day and night shades again another switch if you wanted to. Hey, you're done for the night, you're going to turn everything off, then you can control it just by doing that. And then king size bed, as is typical with something of this stature, you're going to have a real nice gel memory foam king size bed mattress, one of the most comfortable mattresses that you'll ever sit on. You might have been a salesman or two that fell asleep on one of these in the wintertime out on the lot. I'm not going to say whether we did or not, but another 110 outlet there, USBs that you're going to see, more controls. Let me pop up close, but you do have power on both sides of these things, and then more controls including a master light off switch. The headboard that's back behind it too, very nice, gives it a nice little look to it, and you do have opening windows on both sides of the bed. This is just going to be a little access panel so you could turn off some water. Tiffin's got a lot of little spots like that you could do that. This pocket door comes through and it closes up and locks up right there. To get it back, you push it and then wait for it to click back into the spots. And then another porcelain toilet, foot flush, and you got a little sprayer there to clean out the toilet or to wash your butt if you want to. Hangings, that's not what it's for, but it's to clean out the toilet, but you could use it for whatever you want. You do have hanging storage here too for towels or anything else like that. You want to make sure that this is down in its locked position before you go for travel. And then you get a huge shower. Nice little pull-out sprayer there. You could take it off and use it. This flips up and down. And then really nice size shower. We could turn the lights on in here. Controls for your vents, and also your hall light back over here. And then more storage I think storage is the name of the game on this thing because it's got just a ton of it. Again, same solid surface countertops, lots of plugs, dual vanities, and then back in here you'll have this little light guy right here. If you hit that, the coolest thing I think I've seen in a while is they actually put the light in the rail for where you hang everything up, which just gives it a really cool look. I mean, this is just really nice, very attractive. You got some space in here for your shoes or for what have you. Another panel here for your water, and then you could also put a washer and dryer back here too. This is actually not a bad place to spend some time. You could throw a little air mattress down here and keep a guest in there if you really didn't like them, I do suppose. So that's pretty much it as far as front to the back. Charlie, can you think of anything that I missed?
Not off the top.
Yeah, I think so.
I believe we got everything covered.
And Paul, when you get this video, if there's any close-ups of anything that you want, or if there's any questions that you have, feel free to reach out to me directly. You can contact me at 480-278-4623. Congratulations on your beautiful, wonderful unit that's keeping the inside of this thing at 70 degrees, despite the fact that it's like 50 degrees hotter outside. That's insane. I couldn't get to 90 degrees in my RV with something along these lines. So anyway, congratulations on your purchase. And again, feel free, if you need anything additional, contact me directly at 480-278-4623 or at rlucero@lamesarv.com. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.